From a mental perspective, obviously you're the son of the great Sunil Gavaskar. From a mental and pressure perspective, as a youngster, did you feel that expectation?
To be honest, I've never felt the expectation because I think I realized really early on that I can't be a second Sunil Gavaskar, but I've got to be the best that I can be. Rifles definitely aided Indian cricket, and when I say aided Indian cricket, it just a domestic cricketer now has the chance to going back to why I moved from Bengal. He has the chance to practice day in day out with world class cricketers.
Your ODI debut against Australia, 2003-4. Talk us through it. How are you feeling?
It's basically every cricketer's dream come true, to play for your country. And actually, when that dream does come true, it's, words really don't do justice.
You played 11 ODIs. Did you feel as if that you got enough of a run in the side?
I think if you speak to any cricketer, not just me, any cricketer, he'd say he wishes he would have played more and, he should have had this opportunity, he should have had that opportunity. I'm no different. Do I wish I had a longer run? Hell yeah.
And then a word on the Test side. We recently missed out on the World Test Championship, but a great run.
I know a lot of people looking at the World Test Championship final and are very disappointed, but this is an excellent cricket side. New Zealand were much better than us in that Test match, and you've got to take your hat off and doff your hat to New Zealand and say well done, because they were better than us. They outplayed us.
Any names that from, let's say, under 19 level, do you reckon that we should be looking out for that's caught your eye?
A lot of the under 19 guys who've done well are also playing in the IPL or first class cricket. You look at someone like Yashasvi Jaiswal, you look at someone like Priyam Garg, Karthik Tyagi, Ravi Bishnoi.
Cricket Life Stories with me, Neel Khagram. Today we're joined by Rohan Gavaskar. Rohan, how's things going out in India?
Things getting better as far as COVID is concerned. We had it rough a couple of months ago, but things are slowly getting better. And there's been a big improvement over the last couple of months.
No, that's very good to hear.
Yeah.
So let's take it all the way back with yourself. You were born in Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. Talk us through your earliest memories of cricket.
Oh boy, my earliest memories. I actually don't have an early memory of cricket. All I know is that I don't have a specific memory of cricket, but all I know that I was cricket obsessed as a kid. And that obsession lasted for about 10 or 12 years, mad obsession. And then in school, the school that I went to in Bombay didn't have cricket. So for a while, I was really into football. But cricket, obviously, being my first love, I started playing cricket seriously when I was about 14, 15. And from then on, it was just cricket. But I do know that I was completely obsessed with cricket in my early days, childhood, from the age of 1 or 2 till about 10, 11. And then there was a slight change with football. And then once I started playing cricket, it was cricket once again.
Now, you mentioned football. I've got to ask, what position did you play? What team do you support? Got to get it in there.
Well, I support can you see it?
Oh, the Red Devils, yeah.
The Red Devils. And I was a number 9. So was a number 9. So was a striker, would play up front.
Ever any chance of going down that path as opposed to cricket?
I knew I didn't have the talent to take it further than the school level or maybe college level, which is the same, with a lot of cricketers, aspiring cricketers. Just because you've played at a certain level at school or in college doesn't mean you've got what it takes to make a career in cricket. And I felt exactly the same way in football. I knew after a while that this was not something I could sort of make a career out of. It was something to play for fun, something to sport to really enjoy, but definitely not a career, simply because I didn't have the skill set, enough skills to reach the top.
When go back to your cricketing career as a junior, was there a specific coach? So obviously you mentioned that you played club cricket. Was there a specific coach that really resonated with you, honed your skills at that junior level?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be honest, I really started playing cricket seriously when I was in my last year of school. So the coach that really helped me was Mr. Vittal Patel, who was our coach in college. Uh, I think he had a huge influence on my career and has really shaped me into the player that I became. A lot of discipline. Our net sessions would start at 6:30, but 6:30 in the morning. But for the batsmen, as far as the batsmen were concerned, it was first come, first serve. So if you got there before everyone else did, you'd bat first. If you got there second, you'd bat second. So everyone was even though net started 6:30, people were getting there about 5:30, 5:45. Uh, and you'd have long net sessions. You'd be batting for long, about an hour, hour and a half in the nets, and that really helped me. So look, I've got to give him a lot of credit, without doubt.
So you went on to represent India, which we will come on to. But as a junior, what specific drilling were you doing as a youngster? Were you big on the technical aspects of the game, or were you just playing for
Well,
the fun of it?
no, they're playing just for the fun of it. I think that's what all youngsters should really do because, look, the reason, I mean, back then, the reason why most started playing the sport was because you love the sport. This is what I tell all youngsters is look, work hard, but make sure you don't miss out on the fun element, the joy element of playing a sport, whether it's cricket, football, tennis, whatever.
And then from a mental perspective, obviously you're the son of the great Sunil Gavaskar. From a mental and pressure perspective, as a youngster, did you feel that expectation, or did you find it easy to block out?
No, I to be honest, I've never felt the expectation because I think I realized really early on that uh, I can't be a second Sunil Gavaskar, but I've got to be the best that I can be. And this is again, for everyone, you can only be the best that you can be. And now that best could be you could be a decent club cricketer, you could be a decent first class cricketer, or you could be an exceptional first class cricketer, you could be a decent international cricketer, a great international career. Uh, but you've got to be the best that you can be. You've got to maximize your potential, you've got to maximize your skill set, maximize your talent. Now, obviously, you've got to work hard, but everyone has a certain amount of talent which takes you to a certain level. I mean, tomorrow, a really good club cricketer is not, no matter how hard he works, is not going to become an international cricketer. Or a really good first class cricketer, a decent first class cricketer. He could work really, really hard. He could work his socks off. But if he doesn't, his skill set can only take him up to a certain level. Uh, so maximize that skill set. So don't be too harsh on yourself if you don't play first class cricket. Don't be too harsh on yourself if you don't play international cricket. Enjoy the sport, but maximize your potential. Now you don't know what that potential is. It could be you could be a 200 test player, but maximize your potential and don't compare yourself to anyone else.
And then at 18, you scored several hundreds in club cricket for Mumbai, but you didn't manage to get the opportunity to play in the full Ranji side. Therefore, you moved to play for Bengal. At that age, having performed at the club level, did it disappoint you that you didn't get that opportunity? And how did you cope with it from a mental perspective again? And
Yeah,
then
look.
to Bengal, how did that opportunity come about?
So for me, when I got those runs in club cricket and college cricket, I knew that I wasn't going to play for Mumbai next season, the Ranji Trophy, because Mumbai had a star-studded batting lineup, really strong team. But what I was expecting was to be in the probables. They have a Bombay, as well as back then, Bombay probables, and 40, 45 players are selected. Now, why I wanted to really be in that list was because that would be a progression and I would become better as a player because I'd be practicing day in, day out. I would be batting in the nets against the likes of Abhi Kuruvilla, Salil Ankola, Paras Mambre, Sairaj Bhautule, Nilesh Kulkarni. There'd be Sachin Tendulkar, Vinod Kamli, Sanjay Manjrekar, stalwarts practicing with me. They could tell me what I was doing right, what I was doing wrong. I could pick up things from them. I would be practicing against better bowlers, and that's how you improve. And I knew I was good enough, you know, to be at that level and play with them at that age. And when that didn't happen, I thought to myself, look, if I'm not in the 45, after having scored tons of runs, it's obviously going to take me a why to sort of break into. And at that point, Bengal were also going to go through a transition period because, some of the Bengal stalwarts were going to retire. I knew Arun Lal was going to retire. Ashok Malhotra was going to retire. And there were a couple of other players who were coming to the end of their career. So I knew there would be a couple of openings over there. So I went to Bengal and I played a year of club cricket. So I played a year of club cricket in Bengal, did really well in that year of club cricket, and then was selected for Bengal the following year.
On reflection, how would you assess the domestic red ball structure was back when you were playing and how it's evolved and changed and developed to the present day? So a lot of emphasis is placed in the media by commentators about how the IPL has assisted the Indian national side, but the red ball domestic structure must be strong as well. How do you think it's evolved?
No, it is. Back then you had in the Ranji Trophy and Duleep Trophy, you had the zonal system. So initially what would happen was the teams in the eastern part of India would play against each other, and two teams would qualify for the knockout stages. Teams in the western part would play against each other. I think that's changed. Now there's Group A, B, C. So you could be playing, strong teams from anywhere across the country. You get more first-class matches now. Back then, if you didn't qualify for the knockouts, you'd probably get 3 or 4 first-class matches in a year. Now you're guaranteed about 7 or 8. So that's better. More matches for you to showcase your skills. But also you're playing against now. I think you're playing against teams from across the country, which is very good. Well, look, going back to what you said about the IPL, IPL has definitely aided Indian cricket, and when I say aided Indian cricket, it just a domestic cricketer now has the chance to going back to why I moved from Bengal. He has the chance to practice day in day out with world class cricketers, whether you're a batsman or a bowler. You could be bowling to world class batsmen. I mean, if you're in the RCB, you'd be bowling to Virat Kohli and AB de Villiers. You could, if you're with KKR, you could play against Pat Cummins in the net if you're a batsman. So look, that's really helped. And when you play against Pat Cummins or bowl to Virat, bowl to AB, bowl to Rohit Sharma for Mumbai Indians, Surya Kumar Yadav, and you do well against them in the net, that builds confidence. You think, oh, listen, I've handled the best. So if you had to play Pat Cummins in an international game, you've played against him in the IPL or in the nets, so that fear factor is not there because you've already faced him. You know what to expect. You know it's going to be tough because look, he's a top quality bowler. You know it's going to be tough, but you know what to expect, and that makes a big difference.
Do you think pitches have also developed as well to assist fast bowling? You see the rise of the crop India have got at the moment: Sharma, Shami, Bumrah, Umesh Yadav.
Yeah.
Has it changed? And is that the reason? One of the reasons why we're seeing the rise of these world-class, genuine fast bowlers in the Indian national side?
Yeah, I think pitches have changed. Pitches have become a little better, a little bit more pace. There's been a good progression as far as fast bowling heroes are concerned. In the 70s and 80s, you had Kapil Dev, and Kapil Dev inspired, a new generation of fast bowlers like Srinath, like Zahir Khan, Ajit Agarkar. I mean, they had someone to look up to. Now, this generation of fast bowlers have 5, 6, 7 fast bowlers to look up to. They can look up at Zach and say, Zach's my idol, Srinath's my idol, Venkatesh Prasad's my idol, and that helps. So look, it's evolved, and obviously now we've got some absolute top quality fast bowlers.
Yes, I think going back to yourself in 2001, 2002, you were appointed the skipper of Bengal. Did captaincy come naturally to you? Is that something that you enjoyed, reveled in? And any tips you can give to young, aspiring captains, perhaps watching this?
Well, I loved being captain of Bengal. It was a great honor. We had a really good bunch of guys. It was great fun playing with them. Well, the tip that I would give young captains is to be a good manager. You've got to understand that one rule may not apply to all. With some you need to deal with them a little bit easier. arm around the shoulder. Some like a kick up the backside just to get the fire, in the belly going. Some like it when you sort of, just tell them, listen, coax and cajole. So you've got to figure out what works and try and get the best out of your players in that sense.
And when you were called up to the India national side, your ODI debut against Australia, 2003-4. Talk us through it. How are you feeling?
Well, look, brilliant.
Who gave you the call, and just take us into that time?
Well, there was a bit of luck involved in the sense, lucky for me, unlucky for Mohammad Kaif, because Kaifu got injured. He got injured before that tour, so I was called up as a replacement. And again, on before my debut, Viru got injured. Viru wasn't able to play in that game, so I found out only the morning of the game in the huddle that I was playing. And I was super excited. It's basically every cricketer's dream come true, to play for your country. And actually, when that dream does come true, it's words really don't do justice. I was batted up right from word go. It was funny because Saurav asked me if I would bat at number 3, and I said, yeah, hell yeah. But there was a bit of a partnership for the first wicket, so then I was pushed back, and finally I got a chance to bat in the last over. So I was batted up the entire duration of the game, during the duration of the innings, but got an opportunity in the last over. But it was brilliant. It was a moment I'll never forget.
Yeah, you were in amongst the greats in that changing room. Tendulkar, Ganguly, Lakshman, Yuvraj. Take us into that dressing room.
But it's not
leaders, the hardest workers, the jokers.
It's not just that dressing room, because you mix and mingle with them before you get in the Indian side. You are with Sachin and Vinod and a lot of the Mumbai lads. I played with them at club level. I played with them at office level, same team. UV played a lot of A tours with him. Ajit Agarkar is a dear friend, so we used to hang out, play a lot of junior level age group. So you know them from before. Rahul Dravid, you played a lot of Ranji Trophy, Duleep Trophy, Devdar Trophy against them. Him, Anil, Shri, and that helps. That helps because when you do make that move into the dressing room, you're not overawed because you've played with them, you've spent time with them. So you're not overawed by them because, like you mentioned, they're absolute legends of the game, and there is a possibility that you could get overawed thinking, hang on a minute, I'm sitting next to Tendulkar, I'm sitting next to Rahul Dravid, I'm sitting next to Anil Kumble, 600 Test wickets. When you look back now, huge possibility of getting overawed. But because you've played with them early on and you spent a lot of time with them early on, that's not the and well, look, also. The fact of the matter is that all these guys are wonderful blokes, really, really lovely people. You spend time with them, you get to know them, and they make you feel very comfortable when you break into the side. So it was brilliant.
Was there anything specific that those guys were doing in training which really stood out to you? That
it's the mindset.
Put your finger on and say that's why they've reached that elite level.
No, it's purely their mindset. I mean, forget what they were doing then. We just played a Masters tournament in Raipur 3 months ago in March, and Sachin was leading the side, and his mindset, all he wanted to do, even though it's a Masters tournament, was win. He'd practice hard. He'd arrange net sessions. Go out there and practice. It's not just him. I saw Kevin Peterson do the same. Kevin Peterson came. He was playing for England. He had a hit for 2.5 hours on his own. Him and Darren Maddy came and they had a hit. The rest of the England team on there. But that's the mindset of champions. Brian Lara in that tournament got hit on the toe. His toe was bleeding. 20-over game. Got hit early on in the innings. But he hobbled through and batted the entire 20 overs. Now, let's remember this is a Masters tournament, right? He could have easily walked out, said, listen, I'm injured, and you could see that his toe was bleeding. He could have walked out, but he didn't, because that's the mindset. You don't give up. You go out there and you work your socks off. You play with that mentality to be the best, to be the win. It's their mindset which sets them apart.
And then you played 11 ODIs. Did you feel as if that you got enough of a run in the side?
Well, look, obviously, I think if you speak to any cricketer, not just me, any cricketer, he'd say he wishes he would have played more, and he should have had this opportunity, he should have had that opportunity. I'm no different. Do I wish I had a longer run? Hell yeah. But at the same time, I'm grateful that I got the opportunity to play for my country. I know a lot of people would give the left arm and the left leg to play for their country. So, and I was, like I said, I was lucky because, and unluckily for Kefu got injured, because if Kefu hadn't got injured, maybe I wouldn't have got that opportunity. So while I do think that I could have got a bit of a longer rope, because all my ODIs were outside of India. I have not batted higher than the number 6, and I'm a batsman. I've only batted number 6. And that's an alien number for me, because in domestic cricket, I would always bat at 3 or 4, 3, 4. So batting at 6 was alien. So I'd never batted ahead of 6, and didn't play an ODI in India. So yeah, I mean, it would have been great to have got a bit of a run in India. But look, like I said, really grateful for the career that I've had.
You mentioned about batting position. Just a general point. How important is it for a player to go out and perform in a role that they're been accustomed to, having grown up? For example, you said you batted 3 and 4, different to batting at 6, different roles, different mindset.
Well, I think it's changed now with the advent of T20 cricket. I think it's changed because you've got floaters everywhere. Some you just going according to the number of overs left, rather than batting at 3, 4, 5, 6. 10 overs left you go in, 8 overs left you go in. But I think it's important, especially early on in your career. I think once you've settled in, and once you sort of you're a certainty in the side, or your place isn't in danger, it's easier to sort of shuffle up and down the order and sort of experiment and play in positions that you're not really used to. But I think if you're breaking into the side, it's important to, well, it's not important, it helps. Let me just say it helps. It helps to sort of bat in a position that you're comfortable in. Look, someone like Virendra Sehwag, who I think is a genius, by the way, he was a middle order batsman. He got the chance to open, he grabbed it with both hands. But he was a genius. For me, he was just elite level. So it does help sort of bat in a position that you're comfortable in, or bowl. Bowling doesn't really matter, because if you're an opening bowler, you're going to be able to bowl. You're going to open the bowling. But yeah, so I mean, it does help, but it's not really an excuse that you should throw about.
And then 2007, you were in the ICL. Before then, going the IPL with Kolkata.
The reason I joined the ICL was, again, in 2007, I knew my. Obviously, the opportunity to play more for India had passed. I knew I wasn't going to play for India anymore, and I just wanted to test myself against some quality bowlers as compared to domestic cricket. And this was, you had a lot of fantastic cricketers in the ICL. Bowlers, batsmen, Craig McMillan, Nancy Hayward, Andre Adams were in my side. Then you had Brian Lara playing. Kasparovich. You had Tino Best. You had some real quality cricketers in the ICL, and you wanted to test yourself against that. I was coming to the end of my career, and that was the reason I joined the ICL. IPL happened after that, but that was the reason I joined the ICL, because you wanted to test yourself against some really good cricketers.
And then when you eventually played in the IPL, talk us through. I know we touched on it
earlier.
It was. Talk us through that involvement, the environment.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant. I mean, it was obviously the third season of IPL 2010. I was with KKR, and again, it was just the fact that the IPL by then had become such a big tournament, jam-packed stadiums, the atmosphere, buzzing, noise. Everyone's on their toes, that adrenaline, and that's what you want. So it was a brilliant experience.
Do you think, from the audience's perspective in India, do you think that with the advent of IPL and the grand nature of it, do you think Test cricket, from an audience's perspective, is still held as the pinnacle of the sport. Obviously, we've got Captain Kohli, who does say that
Well,
Test
but
cricket is
listen,
the ultimate form. But how are things in India?
well, when you say audiences, I mean there are two kinds of audiences, right? One who are fans of the Indian team, and then they're cricket fans. The cricket fans still hold Test cricket as the pinnacle, and then there are fans uh, who might not really realize the value of Test cricket and just follow the Indian team rather than following the sport. So, look, I think that as far as the genuine fans are concerned, Test cricket is still the pinnacle. No doubt in my mind about that.
And then a word on the Test side. We recently missed out on the World Test Championship, but a great run.
Yeah,
Amazing
look, again,
in Australia.
I know a lot of people looking at the World Test Championship final and are very disappointed. But this is an excellent cricket side. You've got quality cricketers in this team. Whether it's the batting, the bowling, you've got quality cricketers, and we're lucky enough to see them play at a high level, do really well. Yes, New Zealand were much better than us in that Test match, and you've got to take your hat off and doff your hat to New Zealand and say well done, because they were better than us. They outplayed us, but that doesn't take away from the fact that we've done really well over the last couple of years.
Do you think the World Test Championship format is a good thing for Test cricket?
Well, it did get a lot of interest going, and if it gets a lot of interest going, I think that can only be a good thing. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure the powers that will look at what needs to be tweaked, what needs to be sorted out. If there's anything to be sorted out, any way they can improve this format. But I think it's a good format. It everyone was looking forward to the World Test Championship final. It got a lot of interest going. And if it gets a lot of interest going, that's only a good thing.
Do you think the final being played over one test, do you think that's a good thing, or do you think
Well, look, I mean, everyone knew it was always going to be a one test, a one-off game. Now, should it be a one-off game? That's up for debate. I mean, you play the World Cup 50-over game. The final is a one-off game. But it's a funny one because, you play series. You play India plays Australia. It's a 3-match, 5-match series. New Zealand plays England. That's a 3-match, 5-match series, and you get points. So, I mean, you could have a situation where the final is a best of 3 or a best of 5 or first team to 2 test wins. But no real complaints, really. I mean, look, even if you have a one-off test, I'm okay with that.
And obviously, you've done a lot of punditry work as well. You must see a lot of cricketers below the national side as well. Is there talent coming through?
Oh, plenty of talent in the batting department, plenty of talent in the fast bowling department. So there's plenty of talent. I think at the moment India is really blessed that they've got so much talent to exploit. Couple of players get injured, you're not worried. Couple of key players get injured, you're not worried, because you've got players to come in and do a job for you. They may not be of the caliber of the players that get injured, but they're still good enough. They're still fantastic players. So you're not worried as a team. Your bench strength is really strong. So I think we're really blessed in that sense.
Any names that from, let's say, under 19 level, do you reckon that we should be looking out for that's caught your eye?
Well, look, at the under 19 level, we're head and shoulders above most countries at that level. We've been doing really well at the under 19 level since the last few years. I think a lot of the under 19 guys who've done well are also playing in the IPL or first class cricket. You look at someone like Yashasvi Jaiswal, you look at someone like Priyam Garg, Kartik Tyagi, Ravi Bishnoi. They were all part of the under 19 squad that went to South Africa last year in 2020. And they're all playing in the IPL or playing first class cricket. So lots of talent. And like I said, there'll be talent. It keeps coming. We'll keep churning out talent.
And then just to end on, a youngster came to you for a piece of cricketing advice. about their game, what would it be?
Like I said at the start, enjoy the game. I mean, just remember why you started playing the sport, because you love the sport. Enjoy it. Work hard. When you go to sleep at night, you should have no regrets in terms of the hard work that you do. You shouldn't feel that, look, I could have done a bit more over here in terms of preparation, in terms of my fitness. But enjoy the game. I mean, the more you enjoy the game, the better you'll be at it, because you like to spend time in practice. You like to spend time at nets. So enjoy the game.
Rohan, perfect. Thank you very much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me over. Thank you
All the
for having
best.
me over.
All the
All
best.
right. Cheers, mate. See you, Neil.